I'd like to open the meeting to public comment. Mr. Schlegel, please.
First of all, I'd like to begin by thanking Committeewoman Genovese and Committeeman Collins for voting for me for the FRAC committee. I just want to let you know that you're the first two Democratic voters that have ever voted for me. You may not want that published in the Echo Sentinel, so you'll have to speak to Minhaj about that. But I'd like to start by just talking to you about the some comments with regards to the January 2nd meeting, Mr. Mayor. I believe that you are sincere when you say that you want input from the public. At least I want to believe that you are sincere. And I believe that you saw no need for advance notice regarding the enabling resolutions for the formation of the FRAC Ad Hoc Committee or the Media Ad Hoc Committee. However, something bothered me about these committees as well as the enabling resolutions at the time, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But this is your lucky day, Mr. Mayor, because in the past week I found out why I was concerned about both of these committees. First of all, and some of these things have been answered tonight, but they're not really part of the resolution if you read the resolution. With regards to the FRAC Ad Hoc Committee, I had these questions. How many members will it be composed of? Well, now we know. But that wasn't part of the resolution. That was part of what happened tonight. In other words, if the three of you agreed to add Tom and myself to the committee, there would have been 2 more members. So that was open-ended. And then the second question I had was, is membership open to any Long Hill citizen, or must they be approved by the governing body? You talked about being open and wanting an open government, a government that has the input of the people, and I don't see that. Will the appointments by the Township Committee be by individual committee member, or will each nominee need to be confirmed by a majority of the Township Committee? When I think about other governing bodies, particularly the State Senate or the federal branches of government, when there's a 2-party system, the minority party does get appointments to committees, whether it be, for example, the federal government, the Judiciary Committee, or whatever committee there are. There's proportionate according to the members of the committee. But that's not the way you chose to go here. And if each Township Committee member is allowed to apply for our township, I know that I sent an email to all of you regarding my concerns. However, one thing I forgot. In light of all of the issues raised that I raised in the email, and I'm not going to read them here, I believe the public is also entitled to a copy of her resume. Okay, so that we can check further and see besides what was on the web, so that we can have information about who we're appointing in this town. And you made a comment in your opening remarks as to what your agenda would be for this coming year. And while I didn't have any particular problems with your agenda, you did speak about having fresh eyes with regards to the auditors, which you appointed new auditors tonight, and a CFO. And my concern, once again, which goes back to the FRAC committee, is the fact that as we had a discussion in October, back when the Republican Municipal Committee met, we had a discussion about reserves in the town, and I said to you that I was concerned with having the reserves too low, and you mentioned to me that the woman that teaches CFOs in Trenton recommended or suggests that we only need a 1% reserve.
That's not correct.
That's what you told me at the time.
You're mistaken as to the figure, sir.
Okay, what was the figure?
3%.
3%, okay, 3%. But my point is, now with you're appointing new auditors, a FRAC committee that is composed of everyone that you, Committeeman Briggs and Committeeman Briggs, Committeeman Aronia want, it's really just a rubber stamp. And now you're going to have auditors that you want, a CFO that you want, all that are in agreement with you. And finally, I'd like to suggest that we go back to something that we used to have in the Township Committee meetings. We used to have the ability for the public to speak regarding agenda items prior to their being voted on In other words, there was an open public session.
I agree with that.
Okay, and if that were the case, then before you voted tonight on your recommendations
Yeah.
for FRAC and for these other things, the public could have had an opportunity
Yeah.
to give input based on that.
Yeah, we're working on the format, and so Mr. Sluka, please take note of that. I agree with that. We should definitely do that.
Okay, and just two other items, and then I'm...
Well, it's almost 10 minutes.
Okay.
Well, we can vote to extend it, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Finish up. Does
Okay.
anybody else out there want to speak? Oh, we got plenty of hands, Mr. Schlegel.
Okay.
We'll
I'll
wrap
be
it
very-
up, please.
I'll cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase. Thank you.
I'll cut to the chase because I wanted to just bring this up. This is a matter of public record that Committeewoman Genovese could not read into the record, and I want to read it into the record. This is the investigation report for Long Hill Township, and on page 22 it says, in July of 2003, the chief received an email from a man upset about his son's arrest. The chief could not answer the issue until the court case that was pending was held. When the chief sought information from the clerk's office, the clerk had informed him that Mr. Sandow was there to ask about the case and used the name of the defendant that was in the email that the chief received rather than the name, which was different, that was published in the newspaper. The chief was upset that the email was supposed to be for his eyes only and became concerned that Mr. Sandow had total access to the email system when no background check had been run on Mr. Sandow. In addition, the chief was aware that Mr. Sandow had engaged in conduct which some employees considered harassing. The chief stated that it became clear to him that Mr. Sandow was getting access to department heads' emails and other information that no one else could get. The chief discussed with Kevin Saluka and Mr. Sandow, with Kevin Saluka, that Mr. Sandow had access to everyone's emails. The chief further stated that Mr. Sandow had changed the passwords to the website and never told the township administrator. Once Mr. Sandow was removed as webmaster, it took the town a couple of days to work with the hosting company in order to have access to their website. In light of this, and in light of all of your appointments tonight that are hand-picked, rubber-stamped appointments, and that have questionable backgrounds, I think that you're not living up to your campaign promise of an open government because you're really shutting out a lot of people, and this never happened in Long Hill before.
Thank you. Who else?
May I just say briefly, Mayor? No advisory committee has the ability to appoint anyone. Not appoint, or cannot delegate that authority to an advisory committee.
Thank you.
I'm up.
Yes, sir.
William Watts, Millington. I don't always hear what's going on in this room, and that's not just tonight. It's been since this has been our town hall. But at the meeting on January 2nd, I may have missed something. I'm talking now about the Historical Preservation Advisory Committee. As I understand it, 3 positions expired on that committee at the end of the year. And if I'm correct, you appointed 2 for that committee, which means there's 1 spot that has not been filled.
I think that's correct.
In addition, a year ago, a person was appointed to the committee, and that person, to my knowledge, never showed up, never contacted the committee at all, which I would consider an abandonment of a position. So it looks to me like we have 2 spots. And
What's the name of the individual? Or the second individual?
the person's name?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
My understanding, Mayor, it's the architect that you selected. That's my understanding.
Which architect is that?
The one that you had recommended last year.
Oh, I can't remember.
No.
A woman.
Patrick Jones?
Oh, a woman.
I believe it to be Langata, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Renee Phelan was one that was not reappointed. And I would like to see Renee back on that committee. She has great knowledge of this town and is a great volunteer worker, a super person, honest to the, well, she's our treasurer for the Historical Society, and I have a lot of faith in her. In addition, I think that Larry Fash should be reappointed too, for the reasons that I presented at the meeting 2 weeks ago.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?